Hey Monster Truck fans, welcome back for another exciting episode of TMB TV. We've got one of the best and biggest shows of the year for you tonight, and it's an incredible privilege to be here with the Monster Truck Challenge as we are here for the 10th annual back-to-school Monster Truck Bash at the dirt track at Lowe's Motor Speedway. Lowe's Motor Speedway is an incredible complex. It hosts some of the most incredible motorsports events that you see. Race cars, NASCAR over at the big track, NHRA over at the drag strip to our left, and then right here at the dirt track, the Monster Truck Challenge. And this is the 10th anniversary of this great show. Rich Schaefer and the boys have been coming out here putting on some amazing shows, and to celebrate 10 years we've got 10 monster trucks and we've got an incredible race course. Folks, I'm not lying when I tell you that this is one of the wildest race courses ever designed in the history of monster trucks. It's incredibly long, it's incredibly difficult, and we're standing here with a packed house behind us at the dirt track, and they are ready for some action. Now we're going to take you back a little bit earlier today when we talked to Rich Schaefer, the man himself, about this great course he designed, a couple of the drivers to give us a preview of what we're going to see tonight, and then we go out there on the track and take a good look at it, and then we go right into qualifying here tonight. We've done a few special episodes. We did some Trucks and Tractor Power tribute. We did a on-the-road special episode, but this one we're back to straight ESPN-style monster truck coverage, and it's all coming up right now. Well, Rich, Bristol a couple weeks ago, we had a pretty wild course out there, but wild just doesn't say it when we're looking out over here behind us at this track you built here at the dirt track at Lowe's. Start by just kind of giving us an idea of what this is and maybe what style of racing you'll call this one.
Well, it's kind of like a monster cross. You know, I started looking at doing these type of courses with monster trucks when I started watching the Race of Champions over in Europe. And my favorite part of their track is where they had a bridge where the guys crossed and switched lanes so you could do a big circuit all the way around. And this is just kind of one of those derivatives. We've kind of played with idea after idea after idea. And we're kind of limited here on our space. We got a lot of real estate to work with, but it's kind of complicated because all the Musco lighting out in the infield. So our only option was to just go with the biggest course we ever did. And we're up above 3,000 feet now on this circuit, total length.
That's pretty wild, too, and that could actually bring out some interesting challenges for the trucks tonight, talking about refueling. They're going to be refueling pretty much after every run, and is there any concern about maybe even some overheating out there, too?
Oh, yeah, there definitely is with a lot of these dry blocks in the field. You know, I try to keep their movement down to a minimum as much as we can during the show, but, yeah, it's definitely, we might be faced with it tonight with this heat and this humidity where we might have to hold up and try to adjust the show to keep the guys running, because we're definitely going to have a problem staying cool on something this long. But we think about that when we build the track, where we try to put some things into the track to force them off the throttle, because getting off the throttle for just a second or two helps break up that temperature quite a bit. So even down at the ends, we've got some long runs, but we got some little breaks in the action where they've got to get off the throttle for a minute, readjust, then they get back on it. So hopefully that was enough to keep them cool to get through this one.
Now this course, too, talk about in terms of the history of the sport of monster trucks as a whole. This has got to be one of the most challenging, most technical, you know, high speed here, slow speed here. Definitely one of the most challenging courses ever built, I'd say.
Yeah, it's, you know, I always talk about how we try to build things for the Hemis and build things for the wedge heads and things like that. But I'll tell you what, if you look out to the left, we've got a run there that's just going to be unbelievable when you see Halls and some of those guys with tall gears get out there. It's going to be really tough for me to go against a Hemi motor on a track like this one tonight.
Now, real quick, too, this is the 10th anniversary of Monster Trucks here at Lowe's Motor Speedway. You guys have done some great things here, and why not go huge in 10 trucks, huge track for the 10th anniversary?
Yeah, it's, you know, Charlotte's kind of a special place for me, because even since I was a kid, you know, back with TNT, we started coming here in around 1979. And since 1979, there's probably been 2 years that I haven't actually had some type of an event here in Charlotte through my years with TNT and US Hot Rod and now with Monster Truck Challenge. And this was actually a show that I started working on with a guy by the name of Doug Stafford that worked here. And me and a few other people up in Chicago tried to get Monster Jam here years and years ago. And it finally culminated and came into Truck Fest in 1997, 98, something like that. Well, coincidentally, I was already gone. I left U.S. Hot Rod before we ever got to do that show. So it's kind of special for me to come back here and get to do this one now that we've moved over to the dirt track. I think this is my 8th year doing it out of the 10 years we've been here. So Charlotte's always been special to me. It always will be. Brutus Smith, Marcus Smith, and all the guys from the track have just done wonderful things to try to help Monster Truck Challenge grow and get good quality shows like this.
Okay, now real quick, like we did in Bristol, fans got a kick out of it. The Rich Schaefer breakdown. We got racing and freestyle. We look over there, we got this giant double bus jump and all this stuff. So tell us who the main contenders are tonight in each of those.
Well, you know, at least Randy Moore got to hit this on Thursday. He was out here at 5 a.m. doing a TV shoot for us. God bless him. I didn't want to get up that early, but he did it. And he hit it. He knows exactly what he's got to do to get over it. He came up just a tad short, one more foot short on it, and he wouldn't have made it over the jump. So now he knows it, and he's a great driver on this track, but we had this little twist thrown into it when Steve Sims suffered a death in the family. Steve had to step out of the truck. And coincidentally, a half hour before I got that phone call, I was talking with the guys and said, you know, one thing this show's missing is Carl Van Horn. And sure enough, now he's in the field. So he's going to be up there. I would look at Carl to be probably one of your top qualifiers in it because Carl comes out and he's 100% right from the get-go. Several guys are like that. Carl, Randy, there's quite a few of them. They come out, their qualifying times are pretty consistent with the racing. But you got other guys that seem to keep finding speed all the way through the show, like Patrick and Hall brothers and things like that. So I picked Dan to win in Bristol. We didn't get to see it happen because of the rain. This one, I got to tell you, it's tough to go against Hawkins. Hawkins and Koehler have dominated here in freestyle and racing. So I'm going to go Hawkins and Avenger as your top two guys in freestyle. Racing, I think it's going to come down to Hall versus about any one of the 9 other trucks out there. But I think it's going to be Mark Hall in the finals against somebody.
Well, great stuff. That's Rich Schaefer with the Monster Truck Challenge. They've put together an incredible course, an incredible lineup. It's the 10th anniversary of the Back-to-School Monster Truck Bash. Before we get started, we're going to go talk to some of these guys. Mike Hawkins, the defending champion from last year, and the guy we weren't expecting to see, but we're real excited about it, Carl Van Horn driving Stone Crusher here tonight. Those interviews coming up next, and then we're going racing here on the big track. Well, Mike, it's been a great 2009 for the Equalizer racing team. You're here, you're in Charlotte, North Carolina for the 10th annual Back-to-School Monster Truck Bash, and you're the defending champion of both racing and freestyle from last year, and it's going to be your duty tonight to defend that title against a real tough other 9 trucks here tonight.
Yeah, we got a tough field here, but, I mean, we got good parts and good crew, so, we come down here to back it up, and they built the track a heck of a lot bigger than they did last year, so definitely got to be on it tonight.
Now, talk about some of your impressions about that race course out there. We've been talking. We don't know that there's ever been this long of a course in the history of monster trucks anywhere. And here for the 10th anniversary, Lowe's Motor Speedway, they built you a pretty incredible course.
Yeah, it's a long track. I mean, I don't know if they're going to have a mid-fueling station, nobody stop and get some fuel or what, but it's definitely a driver's course tonight.
Okay, now that's racing. A lot of places to make up time on guys, a lot of places to lose time by making mistakes. What's the number one key to doing a good job on this race course tonight?
I think it's going to be tiptoeing the turns and get down with it where you can. And then, try to keep everything in check.
Okay, now talking about freestyle too, because that's one of your things. You won racing here last year, but freestyle is definitely all about the Equalizer. Tell us what you see out there and what we're going to be watching the Equalizer do tonight.
See a lot of good obstacles. I don't want to jinx myself like I did in Idaho, but there's a lot of big obstacles out there, and cross-threading, and just run wide open and let it eat.
Well, that's Mike Hawkins with the Equalizer. He's ready to go. It's going to be a crazy night here. Hey, we got one more surprise driver in the lineup tonight, and we're going to go ahead and talk to him coming up next.